Hi, I'm Rob the accountant. I like to help people build companies while finding solutions to problems that may come your way. Here we are on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon, and I'm back this week a little bit early. And why am I back? Well, it's just one of those things in life. Sometimes in life you have premonitions, you see things, you want to speak, you think something may happen, you're unsure, but you go out on a limb and you say, hey, we should do this because, this might be happening. And so then what happens in life is you're either right or you're wrong. And if you're right, then unfortunately what is going to happen is right. And if you're wrong, well, then sadly in the world that we live in, everyone says, oh, you're wrong. You don't know anything. Well, I think in life, everybody can be right quite a bit. And I also think in life, a lot of people can be wrong. It's really relative to each situation. And what we need to stop doing as a country is getting angry at everybody when they're wrong, even when they're right. And we need to stop getting angry at people who are right, who always think they're right, even when they're wrong. So what I'm talking about today is that even though the platform for the presidential race is over and we have the two old geezers that we have, it doesn't stop me from wanting to still talk about what I would do. And so the reason that, one, I would raise the standard deduction is because our money is just so weak. You can't buy anything. I'm not even sure $26,000 is sufficient for someone to actually live on, have an apartment, and a married couple at $52,000. This is just before the government starts taxing you. So I just continue to believe that there should be no taxation for anyone under $100,000. But the second issue continues to be Alaska, the Arctic, and our position in the northern oceans. And I continue to believe that the U.S. government is completely under-equipped as it relates to our naval assets. The glory of our fleet that is out there tends to be in the Middle East, and it's ironic to me as a person that's in the Middle East because half the actors in the Middle East, they don't even have any navies, barely have missiles. We're burning all of our fuel and commissary for our troops over there on these ships over there, and we're not paying attention to the area that matters. And the area that matters is Russia and Alaska, where we have Alaska with just tons and tons of oil and forestry and, a very small population. And our whole northern front up there with Canada it's just not in a position to really stop a mass flow of people trying to breach it. I mean, if you think that Texas got breached, and they're prepared for it, and they still got breached, then how would Canada and Alaska and our northern front ever sustain such a breach? So you say, well, Rob, how do you know? How are you sure? And why do you get to say you're right? Well, first of all, I'm not right. These things have been going on longer than I've been alive. But what I am right about is that when you have murderous regimes like Russia, and again, I'm not for Russia-phobia. In fact, I think it's time for Ukraine and Russia to sit down and hammer out some peace. I think it's utterly ridiculous that anybody in the world thinks a country like Ukraine, the size of Mexico, is going to beat Russia, or that a country like Mexico would beat the United States of America. So I will remind everybody now who wants to continue to see dead Russians, and there is a point where I get that. There's a point where you say, okay, initially the invasion, they went in, they did it, but we're now what, year 2 into this? So there has to be some type of ceasefire. There has to be some type of let's re-articulate the borders and let's move this process forward in some capacity. And we've already said that Ukraine is not going to make it into NATO. So then why are we just killing people on each side and sending missiles? So, but, Mr. Putin, President Putin, I think he's going to be on his 3rd or 4th term. He's just going to do what he wants to do. So therefore, it takes the ally of Ukraine. And again, people should remember that if some countries were, this isn't France and the American Revolution, okay? And we're not, this is a totally different world now. Imagine if people in the rest of the world were funding Mexico with the missiles that were raining down on Texas, Louisiana, and Arkansas. Just think about that for a minute. If other country was funding Mexico to rain missiles down on the United States of America, everybody would be destroyed, every single person. So why Rob the Accountant is right today, even though it's terrible to be right, and I'm very rarely right about anything in life, is that today, before the Russians decided to go to Cuba, Russians are holding their warship drills in the Atlantic ahead of a visit to Cuba. And so here it is from Bloomberg. Bloomberg's pretty reliable. Russian naval vessels practice hitting targets with long-distance missiles and simulated drills in the Atlantic Ocean ahead of a planned visit to Cuba. The nuclear-powered Kazan submarine in Admiral, whoever his name is, carries hypersonic Zircon missiles, staged the computer drills with high-precision weapons against naval groups of mock enemy over a distance of 600 kilometers, 370 miles. The vessels are due to arrive in Cuba on Wednesday. Russian state-run Novosisa news service reported. And none of the Russian vessels are carrying nuclear weapons and pose no threat to the region. Now, at the end of the day, this is not, in the Northern Front, but, you don't need to be in the Northern Front because they're practicing with 400-mile missiles, and Alaska from the border of the Russian Federation is 50 miles, as Sarah Palin would say. So, if you're down flexing your weapons where people can see them, then you don't really need to go and flex them where no one's going to watch. And so this is, once again, where the threat is real. It doesn't matter that we need to spend the money. It does not matter. Peace and harmony comes through America's power to give hope to those seeking to live free. That's it. And the only way we protect peace and harmony is through strength of arms. And I'm not even sure 9 warships is enough. We might need a few more. But what we should be doing is making warships. We should make warships that don't need 50 other ships to guard it. We should make warships like, in Star Trek, where you have an armada or just a really battleship, like a real battleship that can withstand, multiple upon multiple missiles hitting it. I sometimes wonder all the resources to protect, an aircraft carrier when we have drones and, we have people who are making these flying devices and projectiles out of cardboard, right? So, why are we throwing all of our money on battleships like this? I think battleships going forward should be ships that are fully autonomous and have the ability to, take out 30 other ships before it falls, right? So there's good, you can't, look, even if you, so if you, and I'm not in the military or anything, but sometimes I wonder about the way that our naval battle groups move through the ocean, because, you always see them with the aircraft carrier in the middle and then all these ships on the outer rim and everyone protecting it. But in theory, if you had the coordinates of all of those ships at one time and you just 500 missiles, I just not sure that all of those ships in one place is in today's environment, after what we've seen in Ukraine and Russia, after we've seen in Israel and Gaza, I'm just not sure that makes the best sense. I think what we need to do is find a new way to make a new warship that's autonomous and with massive drone capabilities and a massive hardened position to be able to withstand anything, and also be able to withstand a bunch of missiles that are just flying into Alaska. Because one day the Russian president woke up and decided that there wasn't a difference between civilians and soldiers. Okay, I'm Rob the Accountant. I like to help people build companies while finding solutions to problems that may come your way. Have a question? Drop by this site. There's an email down below, right here. ask@robtheaccountant.com. I'll try to get you an answer, either on video or reply via email. And I look forward to talking to you soon. Have a great day, folks. Bye.